Hey Tanya. Hey, you alright?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm sorry a little bit late
You
because
know what?
I'm
I'm exactly the same, don't worry.
I know you're also the same, but I've been like planning and prepping for my South America and Central America trip. But first, I wanted to like say thank you to you because whenever I'm going through like really shitty moments, I seem to phone like you or like one or two other people, and like you don't tend to hear from me when I'm doing good. Because I thought maybe you might be thinking like, oh, on social media, like I'm more like contained and feeling good. But there's moments, not often, where I'm like, ah, and then I contact you, and your insight, your ability to be able to read what's the current energy and all that, it's amazing. And I think
Yeah.
that people should really benefit from the fact that you're such a
Oh,
wonderful,
thank
wonderful
you.
person.
Thank you, thank you. Do you know what's interesting? The other day when I was saying to my followers that oh, me and you were going on live, someone said, "You don't like Manny." I said, "Who said I don't like Manny?" And she was like, "I swear to God, you said I don't like Manny." I said, "If I didn't like Manny, he would know, and everyone else would know. I would not be following him, and I would
You should have said, Manny
definitely not
calls
be
me
following
once a
him."
month. Manny calls me once a month
I said exactly. I said
when he's having a meltdown.
I was like, exactly. I was like, we speak quite often. I said, if I didn't like Manny, we would know, and I would know for sure. I wouldn't follow him. I said, I may not agree with some of his content, just like some people don't have to agree with mine, but it doesn't mean I don't like him. That's a strong word. She went, no, I swear. I said, there's some people I will physically say, I don't like this person, I don't like that person, but I have reasons to. And I was like, listen, me and Manny has my phone number. So obviously, like, I said, we have each other's number. So of course I'm not going to not like him. So
And you know
that's
what?
just,
We started talking right at the beginning of this social TikTok twin flame stuff, right?
yeah.
Because you saw my stuff and then I saw yours. So we kind of started like similar time as
It's been
well.
about a year. It's been about a year now. I think we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary, Manny.
I
Like,
think yeah, I started in July. I think you started a little bit just after, but yeah, it's just over a year now.
yes. So it was August, I think, last year, August, I started putting Twin Flame content up. And can you see my comments? Because I don't know if you can see my comments.
I don't know. I can see loads of comments underneath.
Okay.
My favorite two people, blah blah blah. Hi Manny, hi everyone. Um, like sometimes, and I'm gonna be like quite like honest and nice about people because I know what people go through because I sometimes go through it as well. When I'm going through my mad phase, which is not often, but I call you, and I also sometimes call Haley, but I think Haley's like, oh, stop doing my head.
Haley's always busy. Even I speak to Haley every day, and I'm like, I'm not going to ask you. I'm not. Don't channel for me. But Haley has kept me sane in the last year. I feel bad for her. I'm like, oh my god, she's going on holiday next week. I'm like, oh my god, Haley, you're going for 10 days. What the fuck am I going to do? Like, then I was also learning that I can't be codependent on Haley. So I'm just like, so when it comes to the weekends, there's no Haley. Haley's quiet, morning time, and so I'm kind of getting used to it as well. But Haley is like the go-to person for all of us because she's just like she shouts at me. She'll literally shout at me and say, "Josh, chill out! Like what the fuck? Chill out." So no, it's good.
I, I connected with her on TikTok and she helped me get into like plant medicine, which is really good. And then I was calling her whenever I was having a meltdown, and I think it was too much because we do go through all these phases. But what I learned like in the last month, two things I've learned recently. Firstly is boundaries, but secondly is also what I found out first. We get the answers within. Like that's really the most important thing. And we've got to respect that other people, like yourself or Haley or myself, we're going through things at the same time.
Yeah.
And sometimes our followers don't understand that. I think
Oh,
sometimes they think that we are just like so stable and grounded. And like literally, I have meltdowns and then I'll phone my twin flame people and say, I'm like, so it's so bad.
yeah.
But we have to
It's
learn to go.
so yesterday, one of my clients, she sent me a voice note and she missed it. So last week, I had to put a post up on Instagram saying I don't appreciate voice notes without permission. So don't send because we pick up people's energies through voices, and I actually had to put a post up. So this girl, the woman, she sent me a whole load of voice notes yesterday, and I said, "I'm really sorry. I'm not going to listen to these. You might have missed my post." And bless her, she deleted every one by one. And it's true. People don't feel like we like because we come on we put this brave face on like this morning I woke up in a low vibe, a lot of nostalgia and all that kind of stuff, and then I spoke to a friend and like we were having jokes, so it kind of raised my vibe a bit. But when I get so many kind of requests or so many questions. They're like, yo, I'm going through the same thing, you know, like we go through it as a collective. So if you're feeling it, of course I'm fucking feeling shit as well, like, you know, and sometimes we don't always have the answers, you know, and when you're in a low vibe, sometimes it's hard to channel, it's hard to pick up people's energies. So I've had to shut down people sending me voice notes, especially both of us in the FYP. Hey, Jace. Thank you for the follows to the people who are following Manny and now following me. Thank you for following.
You know what? Like used to reply to every single person, yeah, every comment, every email. And I don't like voice notes because I read at the speed of light. I can read something really fast. And then I'd have people sending me 20 voice notes, 10 minutes each one long. And I haven't got 20 hours to sit here every day looking at your stuff. We both have full-time jobs, yeah? We do this on the side just to help people. I mean, you've been on the journey a little bit longer than I have, but still, we are on the journey. And we're going for our own stuff. And then we have family stuff, twin flame stuff. We have personal, we have work. Then we have all of this. And we're like taking on thousands and thousands. I was getting hundreds of messages and emails and comments. And one night, basically, I was getting so many messages and people were like, really in a bad place. And I'm trying to go to bed here and my phone's going off. And it's just not kind because I don't know about you, but I've spent a lot of time, energy, effort working on myself. And, you know, and if I get a coach or if I'm going to get support, I do like hopefully be there for the other person or pay them. I've paid a lot of money, but some people feel like they can just, I don't know, take without doing the work.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I learned as well. So I get energetically woken up at night, and that's frustrating. So you're in a deep sleep, and all of a sudden you're woken up from a deep sleep because someone has sent you a message and they're in so much distress. And until you don't reply back to them, you can't go back to sleep, and that's hard because it's happened to me a few times. I'm like, for fuck's sake, just let me sleep. And yeah, it is. We have, because I do this as a passion. We've had to heal. I had to do my healing without TikTok, and I learned a lot by myself. And we do have the answers within us. And I reckon if I didn't go through my dark night, you know, sitting 9 months in this room and like just sitting on the floor fucking crying or like just going through it, you can't give the advice. And this is why as coaches, we have to go through it first. We're like the maze runners. We run through it first. And then we teach other people how to go through it in an easier way. So someone was asking a question, I think it's one of your followers, said, are you both on the twin flame journey? Yes, we are. And how did we decide we wanted to create content? Naturally, the more healing you do, the more healing we do, your soul guides you. And the more you listen to your soul guides you into what to do. And this is what happened with me. So I started off talking about law of attraction first, and then slowly your soul guides you to put the content. So I don't put as much content anymore because I'm not guided to do it. So when I'm channeling for people, I will know when to post a certain thing. And it's been maybe about 3 or 4 weeks since I put something up. And most of the times, if we post things about divine masculines, you will get so many new followers and you get so many comments and likes, and you talk about divine feminines, you don't get as much followers. You just hear people. And I think I was like that as well, commenting back to everyone's comments because I don't like being ignored. So when I'm asking a question to someone, and like before I started posting content, I'm not going to mention names, but when I used to go on their lives and ask questions, you get ignored, and you just want an answer in that moment to kind of thing. And then I've now seen that when I'm reading comments, and it comes from a lot of women in particular, where it's a lot of toxic comments, and you can read from that energy that, okay, there's a lot of healing, and it's not everyone is open to receiving that constructive feedback. So when you give that comment back, some people get really offended. Like I get people telling me, oh, it's my journey, you should tell me what to do. Okay, why are you asking me for? Simple. Like, you know, don't come to me for help, or don't come to me for advice if you're not open to receive. Like, you know,
I don't generally get that much like toxic people. So, but yesterday I had someone and sometimes I don't know whether they're like telling the truth or making a joke out of something because they put like a laughing face. So I'll put a laughing face back. And then they're like, oh, but you will be crying and if you don't take my advice. And I'm like, first of all, respect and boundaries. Like, this is a big thing that is not... And usually I just ignore it and I don't try to take it on. But there's someone called on YouTube. She's British, half Indian, white, and she proper puts the boundaries in. She's a divine feminine. I forgot her name. Is it Twin Flame Soul Within or something? She proper puts boundaries in because some people just kind of overstep them. And, you know, the codependency, you know, we talk about boundaries. I realized that I was probably making people codependent with my giving them the answer straight away without them having to go within. And I've had other issues with family members where I've had to really put boundaries in recently because I realized they were just sucking my energy, taking my energy, not doing any inner work, and seeing the twin flame journey as a like fairy tale or like fantasy romance. Yeah. And not even everyone is on the twin flame journey. There's some people, you know, they don't like to hear it though, but they're in soulmate or karmic situations and they think it's a twin flame.
Mm-hmm. But there's also the twin rays, you know. It doesn't have to be romantic with twin rays. And I don't put content on twin rays because then that's just gonna fucking. That's why my last post was about don't follow labels, don't follow what people tell you, follow what you feel like it. Your answers are within. So if I start putting content on twin rays, they'll be like, oh, what's this new? I want to be a twin ray. I don't want to be a twin flame. You would.
What's your definition? What's your definition of twin rays?
Twin rays, I think, is very, very similar with twin flames, but twin flames is more of the romance because you chase more of the romance aspect of it, whereas twin rays are more of the friendship. You can be friends and not be romantically involved. So you can have love for someone, but not on a romance side. So with twin rays, they do exactly the same work. We trigger each other, but it's not as toxic. And I reckon and this is my own opinion on this, by the way, so anyone listening, don't agree or disagree, please don't come at me with it. But a twin flame is if you have a lot of toxicity within you, if you have a lot of victim mindset, the twin flame comes in because you really desperately want that person in it. And whereas twin rays, you can be all right with it. And friendships, like, you know, how many times do we depart from friends and then reconnect many years later and we can restart where we left off? There's no like longing or like that excruciating pain that I really want you. And 100% the labels keep us behind on it. So I'm just like, just deal with the situation. Don't put a label to it. When someone asks me, are you my twin flame? I don't know, are you? That's what I say to them. I don't know, are you? Why are you asking me for? Like, I don't know if you are. I know I am.
It's interesting with all the different information out there. Like you started off at the beginning saying like, you know, even you and I have sometimes different variations in what we think. And I've always said, don't listen to me. Listen to yourself. And this is just theories at the end of the day. It all comes from the mind, okay? And the mind will create whatever thought pattern it wants to, but most of these things are beyond mind and its energy. But my thinking on twin rays, what I've heard, which is basically some people say it's when twin flames have healed and ascended and they come into more of a higher level way of working with each other. Some people say Esther and Jerry Hicks from Abraham Hicks, that they were twin rays. So who the hell knows? And they were in a very deeply loving romantic relationship. You know, like sometimes we don't even know because we're not supposed to know. It's beyond our comprehension. And we can only focus on what we do know, which is I'm having this experience right now. This is how it feels for me. I want to feel good. It feels terrible. So how can I feel good? I have to go within. I have to balance myself, ground myself, love myself, you know, heal myself, focus on other things and really excel. And I've been trying to like wean people off the twin flame stuff because it can keep you in that perpetuating cycle of twin flame. So I'm starting like a new series on Ascension. I'm weaving in a little bit of twin flame stuff to make them understand where the overlaps are, but it's like you need to focus on your inner work, your inner child, self-love. You need to focus on, you know, what you are doing rather than the other person.
I think we learned that the hard way, right, Manny? I think both me and you, like when we talk about our situations, it's like I think the biggest lesson is how do you detach from the opposite person? How do you detach from what that person's up to? And right now, if someone said to me, "Do you want your twin?" I don't know. You know, I don't know. Do I care what my twin's up to? No, not really, because I'm just worried about my own life. I wake up. You're not in my life. You know, you're not in my life right now, and I'm going to deal with whatever's in my life. Whoever's in my life today is who I will hold close. You know, I was having this conversation with a friend a little while ago, and I said to him, because he was asking me about the twin flame stuff, and I said, I was like, because he asked me, like, what happens if your twin doesn't come back? I said, you just got to deal with it. There's nothing you can change. Like, it is what it is. And I'm not going to stop living my life because my twin's not in my life, you know? And the moral of it is, well, you don't need to talk to someone to love someone unconditionally. You can love someone. You know, we love people who have passed away and we still love them. They're not in your life. It doesn't mean your love stops for them. It just means that you've accepted that you're not together. And it may not be that. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone, we don't know what's going to happen after I come off this live or during this live, let alone what's happening tomorrow. And this is why this journey teaches us to come back to today, deal with today. Funny enough, my masseuse messaged me a little while ago, and I said to him once, I went for a massage, and he was telling me about an encounter he's had with someone, and I said, I think you're a twin flame, but I'm not here to tell people you're a twin flame. But I feel, and he messaged me today, and he said, I keep seeing this number, and every time I'm searching it, it's talking about twin flames. And I said to him, yeah, I told you last time, and he said, I am not a twin flame. I refuse to accept this, and this and that. And I was like, well, there you go, you're running from it. He said, but I can't move on from this person, and I'm going to move on. And I said, well, you just said to me you don't want to move on, and now you're moving on. You don't have a choice.
This is where the whole thing about doubts, and I see a lot of divine feminines doubting and then worrying, and then I believe that you create your reality, and your twin flame, divine masculine, is you pushed out, right? It's your manifestation, it's your creation of your shadow aspect. So if you're going to doubt it, they're going to obviously mirror that and doubt it too. You know, if you're going to accept it, if you're going to choose yourself and choose to heal or balance or connect with your oneness, then they're going to do the same and mirror it and come closer to you too. Now, everything is just a reflection and a projection. But with the doubts, with the fears, with the energy leaks, with the constant, it's not going to happen, and defeatedness, defeatism, or whatever you want to call it, you're basically perpetuating your own suffering in that sense.
But that's why I felt guided to put that post up about whatever is your reality is what you want. So when someone says to you, you're not meant to be in union, that's because these people are believing it. If you want union, ask for union. So Pamela's asking, right, it's to both of us, what's your take on the Lego level of ego displayed over SM with content? What's SM? I don't know.
I don't know what SM stands for.
Pamela, what's SM? Can you reword your question, please?
And then I recently started talking about
social media. Sorry.
Social media. Yeah. What's the question?
Okay. What's your take on the level of ego displayed over social media on negative... Oh, wait. What is your take on the level of ego displayed over social media with content? Oh, Pamela, I've given you my take on that. People are gonna... You get spiritual ego. Spiritual ego is quite dangerous, where people think, oh, I have this gift, and what I'm saying is right. And they like to push that content out. There is no level. We all know each other. Every single one of you that are on this journey can provide content based on your own experience. And just because our journeys are similar, they're very different as well. So I don't expect people to listen to me. So if I say to someone, twin flames don't go through this, or they do go through this, that's up to you to take on it. It's like tarot reads. You take what resonates, you take what fits, and you don't take. And most of the time, people don't like hearing what people have to say. So if someone comes to me and says, and they come in the masculine energy and they're like, no, I'm not masculine. I say, well, you need to work on your masculine side and come towards the feminine. Like, I've had this so many times where people say, well, what makes you think you're right? I'm not saying I'm right. I'm talking, you ask me a question, I give my opinion on it. It's up to you to take. And then people will say that's narcissism because I'm telling you that you have. No, I don't tell you to believe in anything I'm saying. You ask me my opinion, I give my opinion. It's up to you what you do with that information afterwards.
It's like when you call psychics. There's one person on TikTok who does twin flame stuff, and it's really interesting. He charges $25 for any question you ask, which is great. But he says when you on his link tree or whatever it is, he writes for entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. Entertainment, exactly. You know, one of my friends, he's like, oh, let me test you. I said, go and test me. He will send me random pictures of people to like, read this person's energy. And if he doesn't like what I've said, he's like, nah, your gifts are shit. Your gifts are shit. I'm like, why? Because it's not what you want to hear right now. But then if I channel that person and I say, right, this is what I pick up, and he agrees with it, he's like, oh, yeah, you're on point. You're on point. He's mostly listening in the background and laughing at me right now. But I'm just because you don't want to hear what I'm saying doesn't mean I'm wrong or right. You know, sometimes I get right.
This is where we're giving away our power, and this is something really important which I've learned in the last month, which is I Trust God. And I did a post live on that because I realized I was giving my power away. Like, when you're going through the ego degradation, you're going through all the fear, when, your Kundalini is activated, you've been, activated by your twin flame and all the stuff's happening, dark nights. Yeah, we're like clambering and holding, suffocatingly breathing, trying to hold on to anything to gain a sense of reality. The DM does it by holding on to karmics and their old life, but we're doing the same in addictive energy by phoning psychics, calling friends, looking at tarot. And you know that I don't do, I can do tarot, but you may have seen me before I started doing twin flame stuff. I've done a tarot on my TikTok right at the beginning, but I've never done tarot for TikTok, for twin flames, because I believe that it depends on the energy of the person. If you do it in a place of groundedness, you're balanced, it's fine. But if you're doing it from a place of addictive energy and chasing energy, it perpetuates your powerlessness more and it keeps you stuck in limbo.
Exactly. And this is what I say to people. If you're doing a tarot read for yourself, yeah, by all means do it. But if you're doing it to find out, and these are the people that say, oh, no, I'm not chasing, but why are you getting a tarot read on your twin? Because that's chasing. Why do you need to know what's happening in their life when they're not talking to you? I had someone, I'm not mentioning names here, and she said, oh, you and a psychic confirmed that this is the thing. So when my twin comes back, I'm going to ask him the question to see if he's lying. I said, but what makes you think, what's the truth? And she said, well, you lot said it. I said, it doesn't make it the truth just because I said it. Just because I'm channeling something, it doesn't mean it makes it the truth. And I was like, what if he's actually genuinely telling you the truth? And what you're hearing from us is to teach you something, because that happens with tarots as well. It throws you off. Spiritual curtain twitching, that's it, Sarah. And I say to people that tarot reads will throw you off because you're meant to listen to yourself, not anybody else. So sometimes you will go to your trusted tarot reader and everything's smooth, and then all of a sudden there's a turn in the tarot read and you're like, oh fuck, I wasn't expecting that. That's because you're not meant to be going to tarot. By
the way, we can only see half of your face, so I don't know if it's...
Oh no, it's because I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, that's why. So I'm turning the screen a bit. I'm turning the screen a bit. It's just that I'll get a violation come up if I. So I always do that. I have to hide my face.
What you said is so interesting, because I feel, yes, there will be people who will try to F you up in a sense. Like I've gone to dinners or places and I sat next to someone and they're like, I'm a psychic. I can read there's a man in your mind. And I'm going to tell you, he only cares about himself and blah, blah, blah. And they'll put in all these things in your head, right? He's doing drugs, he's sleeping with everyone. And they'll put all these thoughts in your head and it will really mess you up.
Yeah.
And it will, and I have some people who follow me who message me and they say, oh, I had a dream of your twin flame, which is fine. Usually that's fine. But they'll say, oh, I've downloaded that he's doing this. And I'm like, first of all, I never asked you. Second of all, I'm not going to invite that energy no more, because it used to throw me off, okay? It used to make me feel really anxious and worried.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to be very careful of what we're inviting in our life. We want to be peaceful.
100%. Because my best friend told me that he doesn't. He's a strict Muslim. He's like, bro, we should be doing tarot. But when I said to him, oh, my tarot said this, he's like, oh, but because I said, oh, well, this reader's bullshit. He's like, why? Because she didn't say what you wanted to hear. I was like, yeah. So Katrine, just so you know, because you can do it on your own. And she said, what's your take on reading your own tarot? Getting the ego getting in the way of your intuition. Sometimes our intuition can test us as well. We get tested. So I don't personally say do it in yourself. I don't even trust my own downloads. When I get downloads for myself, I sometimes doubt it, because I'm like, what if it is my ego telling me something else? What if it's my ego? Yesterday, my ego was such in a negative mindset, and the whole day I'm seeing triple twos. Now, for me, triple two is a specific sign, and I know what it means. And it's like, okay. And then it kind of brings you back into the positive mindset. But I don't advise people to, if you're going to do it for yourself, you don't need, tarot is just a tool. It's a card. If you listen to yourself, I don't use tarot cards and I can do it. And when Haley is actually quite amazed with me. What you do, but that's because, Monique, you allow energies to come in. You have to be very careful who you're calling upon when you're doing these readings or meditations, because you could be calling up on negative spirits and stuff like that. So I don't do that. I just
everything matches your energy, right? So where are you in a headspace? When I was going through ego degradation, dark night, and all that madness, my tarots were not on point. But when I'm in a place of balance, when I'm peaceful, I can do a tarot and it's so accurate. And then also you'll have your dream downloads, you'll have your telepathy with your twin. Constantly, you'll always know what's going on. And the thing is, they'll reflect you, how you feel. And it's all about being discerning that, you know what, there's people, the only person you really want to trust is God and your inner self. Okay, that's where you want to go, and you want to get the answers, and you want to get peace. Because even your own twin flame is there to shake you, to break you, to make you see your triggers. Right, that's what they're there for. So they can't even be fully relied on. You know,
Exactly.
especially not in separation.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of people are, oh yeah, no, I feel it. The psychic told me this. No, like, no, Alana, we're human beings, so fear-based thoughts are not always something that requires healing. We always healing, but it's like when someone says to you, oh, well, if that triggered something, no, you can be pissed off, you can miss someone, you can have whatever emotion, and it's not necessarily mean that, oh, I got triggered. Like, some people make me jealous. Like, if I'm talking to someone and that person's made me jealous, it doesn't mean I need to heal it. It just means I have a valid emotion within me. It doesn't mean like you're not going to be 100% perfect, where you're not going to have jealousy or negative thoughts. Like, then that's just going to be weird. Like what's the end goal? You're going to be healing all your life, but you're not going to be 100% perfect, where you're not going to have negative emotions. You'll get good days, you'll get bad days. And if we have fear, we're a human being, you know. And there's this biblical story that's coming to mind. I don't want to go too much into it. It's when God overheard two angels talking, and the angels would say, no, if we were humans, we would never do that. We would never cause disrespect. And God turned around and said to these angels, and this is the story of Venus, by the way, the Lady Venus. And God said to these angels that if I had created you with the same emotions that I created humans with, then you would not be saying that. So he said, as a matter of fact, I'm going to send you to Earth. The two of you are going to go down to Earth as men, and we're going to install these emotions in you that the human beings have, and let's see how long or how you live this life. And you know what? They failed. You know, they failed their mission. So it just shows that we were created with a lot of fears. We were created with doubts, but we were also created with the opposite. So we have to be okay to accept our emotions. Like, you know, I get jealous. You know, I was talking to someone and I got jealous, and I was like, I'm getting jealous. And the person, oh, that happened so many years ago. Yeah, but it's me acknowledging that I'm jealous in this moment, and that's okay. You know, it's because I want what you've had. You know, and there's nothing wrong in that. It's not as if I'm going out my way to make that person's life miserable because they've had something that I wanted. You know, it's okay. You know, take food for example. You see someone eating fish and chips, and you've not had fish and chips, and you're like, oh, I want that, but I can't afford it. You're not going to terrorize that person because they're eating something you want. You know, you just accept the fact that, you know, I don't have it at the moment. Manny, someone was asking, how long have you been on your journey?
Yeah, well, I've got some things written down, but can I like interview you a little bit?
Because I was gonna do some channeling for your followers today, but we can do that in a bit. But I want to restrict it. I want to restrict it down to maybe 3 people, only 5 minutes each, but not my followers, your followers. So we can do that towards the end.
We'll answer some questions as well, but I want to ask you some things, okay? So I've been on the journey 2 years. We'll talk about that in a second. But the second I met my twin flame, yeah, I had all, and I've talked about this so many times, like, and not all twin flames go through it as extreme as I did. And I've heard from various people that I'm on a fast track. Like, some of us are more on a fast track because it's happening straight away, quick, and some it's more slower. So what I want to ask you is, when I saw my twin flame, I didn't know at the time that this what it was, but I had a Kundalini awakening every time I met him, okay? Every time we were intimate, and literally my chakras went bam, 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 bam. My Kundalini went right up. I flew out of, my soul flew out my body. I was in the astral realm. Me and my twin were like floating, journeying, doing the tantric stuff, the shamanic stuff. The cosmos was there, time stopped, angelic energy. I saw the past, present, future. It was like the most profound love. I felt very safe and all that kind of stuff. And it was very magical and mythical and mysterious. And like, I understood the meaning of life. That's how I felt. I felt like I died and gone to heaven, and my twin flame looked like an angel, right? And I've spoken to other people, and they're like, no, with my twin, I just felt very safe. And then some other twin flames I've spoken to, that it took them 6 years or 9 years before they had that. It's also called the Hieros Gamos, the marriage, the sacred marriage of the souls. But straight after your Kundalini's gone all the way up, that's when you have complete dissolution of life, and you have all the dark nights. And last year for me was hell. But it's taken me up until now when I'm doing my new series about ascension, where I'm researching Kundalini and Tantra. I'm like, oh, that's what I went through. That's what I went through to the dot, like when I'm putting stuff out there. But then some people commented on my post yesterday, not everyone goes through that. So we don't all have the same. And I'm like, but you must be soulmates then, or I don't know. What's your take on Kundalini?
I personally, if someone talks to me Kundalini, I'm like, sorry, what does that mean? That's literally what I do. And so I, again, see it as a label. And I'm like, I deal with it there and then. So talking about that experience, what you did, I don't want to go into too much detail. I didn't realize it because at that time I didn't know what a twin flame thing was. But when I look back at it, I'm like, whoa, I experienced that. Like, I didn't think, like, I had my spiritual awakening in Cyprus. And it was like, I didn't know what the fuck was happening. Like, I had no idea what was happening. So when you get that electric shock through the body, you're like, what the hell is happening? So I didn't know about twin flames till about 3 or 4 months into the journey. But even then, it's only in the last 2 years I've understood. When I look back at my life and my journey, I'm like, oh shit, that's what happened then. But if you talk to me about Kundalini, I'm like, who's that? Like, what is that? I don't know what it is. Don't talk to me about labels.
I don't know either. Like, I don't know what it was. And
that's why I don't personally feel like, I just say to people, experience whatever you're experiencing, accept what it is. Because what we do is we're resisting what's happening and we're like asking ourselves, oh, this is happening because it's a Kundalini or this. Like when people say to me, oh, I can't speak, my throat chakra is blocked. I'm like, I'm going to give you a backhand right now. It's literally the fact that you can't speak. You're looking for a label. Oh, I can't speak because my chakra is blocked. You can't speak because you can't speak. Like that's literally, look at it like that. Because what we do is we look for reasons. If you have a fucking headache, take a painkiller. Don't look. You don't sit around wondering, oh, is it because I had chocolate last week or I had this or that? Just take the painkiller, get your headache out the way, and then look at it afterwards as to why. And people, what they do is they avoid doing a lot of work because they're looking at why they're feeling certain things. So with me, I'm just like, deal with the situation. Like,
I mean, the label can properly restrict you for sure, but I'm kind of like a bit of a nerd. I need to understand things to be able to transcend them. But yes, the labels keep you stuck in the whole this and that. But I think it's important for twin flames to discern if they're twin flames or soulmates or with karmics, because with a twin flame, you will have a Kundalini awakening, whether straight away or later, whether both at the same time or separately. But that experience of what we go through, it's it's in ancient Indian texts for thousands and thousands of years. It's in ancient Egypt as well, Kundalini and the snake and the going up the spine. It's in lots of different historical religions and texts. But it's definitely something that happens because people put the twin flame label onto, romantic relationships, destructive, karmic, angry, violent relationships, and just limerence where, oh, who didn't text me back and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, listen, it is a deeply spiritual experience. And some people are on fast track and some people, it's much slower. Like I was told, if you see a clock, right? Some people are like, one person is at 10 o'clock, one's at 9 o'clock, and you gradually get into 12 and union. Whereas other people like myself, where like me and my twin flame completely distorted, 12 and 6, and it's an instant satori at 12 o'clock when you have the awakening of the divine masculine. Mm-hmm. So yeah, each journey is unique. But what about your journey? Did you want to talk about your journey at all, or the length of your journey, or what you've been doing for your journey?
Funny enough, I've just completed 4 years. I realized yesterday, September the 13th is 4 years since I physically met my twin. And so I've just passed 4 years. When I first communicated with my twin on the app was on the 4th or 5th of September. And so now it's literally been 4 years since we physically met. So if we were talking, that classifies as your 4th year anniversary. I don't talk too much about my journey or my twin in particular, but I'm happy to answer people and I'm happy to share experiences.
And I ask that after 4 years, how do you feel? Because for me, it's just under 2 years right now. But because some people say after 4 years of inner work, union happens and this and that and the other. So do you feel deflated? Do you feel Great. How's your life?
You've heard that song, All That Work, and what did it get me? That's literally what you hear me singing quite a few times. So no, Mary, I'm a divine feminine. What I feel is where I am right now is, and a lot of my collective group are at this place where we've done a lot of work and we've come back full circle, and we're now at the start of how I was 4 years ago. So we will answer questions. Let's give it hold tight for the questions in a bit. So I'm now back full circle, and it's interesting because when you meet new people who I call place fillers, you're like, shit. Do I need to do all this again? And I said this to one of my clients last week. It's like her life seems like she's done all the lessons, and now you've done it's like doing the mock test in the exam, and then all of a sudden, here's your official exam now. Let's send you someone else in. Now let's see how you go.
What do you mean? What do you mean that you've come back to where you were before?
So when you start this journey, we don't know what it is. And then you go through all the healing work, you go through all the stages, and all of a sudden you've now come back round. So you've gone through the washing machine, and now the spin has ended, and now you're in the dryer, and you're drying. You've come out dry, and everything's starting all over again. So your manifestation power has come back. So the divine feminine at the start of a twin flame journey starts manifesting, like she can speak things into existence like that. And I'm talking from experience. You can say something, within 10 minutes you see the results. And then all of a sudden, all that stops, and you're like, oh my God, my twin robbed me for everything. And then you're like, why can't I manifest? And you're desperately trying to manifest, and we hold on to all these affirmations. And some people go towards spell work, some people go towards tarot, some people, they're desperate about certain things. And then you realize why everything happens. When you come back full circle, like, okay, now you can start manifesting. Now manifest what you want rather than what you need, because we don't know. When we're on this journey, we don't know what we need and what we want. So we get confused between the two. So we think that what we're manifesting is what we need, but it's actually a want. So now you go through all that, you're like, okay, I want this now. I don't need this. Your self-worth, it all gets brushed up. So you're like now the polished version. So things that you have lost on the journey start coming back full circle. And I'm talking from experience in terms of my job. You know, I had a very good job that took me a long time to get to. I lost that job on this journey. And then now I've been offered a new job, and it's actually better than what I lost. You know, it's in this place where I'm now attracting new people in my life who are quality people. So, you know, you might get the thing where I might see narcissistic tendencies in people, but I know how to deal with it much more than I did couple of years ago.
And you mentioned to me that when the divine feminine loses her manifestation ability, it's the divine masculine that is taking it, right? But he can't maintain it, and then he loses it, and then it comes back to you.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part, because the masculine thinks, oh, I got this power, I don't need you in my fucking life, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone, and you're like, yeah, you took my. I remember saying to my twin, you fucking robbed me. You're living my life. You're even doing the job that I was doing. You're doing all this for other people, just not for me, right? And then all of a sudden, it's gone from them within months. We have it, but it's like saying, here's a budget. Learn to deal with this money. Here's a pot of money.
It's too much for them.
Exactly. And what do they do? Oh, I've got all this money, I'm gonna piss it out, and then you end up pissing it out, and then you're like, shit, it's all gone. And it's all gone.
You know, have you heard of have you seen the Mickey Mouse? What's it called? Anastasia, the Mickey Mouse movie, where he gets the magic wand, right? And he doesn't know what to do, because he's like, what that is he doing? And he creates havoc, and it just all blows up in his face. Or I like this analogy. Imagine a boy and a girl go into a barn, right? And the boy finds matchsticks, and he sets the matchsticks alight without knowing. So that's igniting the Kundalini, the twin flame activation, or whatever you want to call it, when you meet. And they set the whole damn barn on fire because they don't know how to deal with the matchsticks. They don't know how to take care of things, whereas the divine feminine does. But I feel like I understand what you're saying. For me, I feel like it's a little bit fast-tracked, actually, because I've been on this journey for less than 2 years. 2 years will be in mid-October. But last year, in the first year, my life was totally rubbish. I lost my job. I was in and out of hospital. My health was crazy. And I was still filming content. I was doing all the stuff on social media, even though I was wanting to die every day. But then last year I did lots of inner work straight away. As soon as I found out, I didn't waste time. I hear some divine feminines, 30 years later, I haven't done any inner work. I only found out he was my twin flame and blah, blah, blah. For me, it was straight on it, understood, got on it. And then last year, I got my new job, even more money, started to manifest my life. Everything started going really well last year. I think after October, I surrendered. But this year has also been similar on that. But I know you're very good at reading current energies and telling us what's happening currently for the collective. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
It happens based on intuition. So, like right now, I can't. Like if I've been trying to do this for the last week. I'm like, what is the collective energy, right? And what's happening with the masculine? I can't. So it comes naturally. So it's like waves, and like even my I've not been coaching anyone in the last 2 weeks, and that's because obviously me starting my new job, I've had to focus on other areas. So naturally, it's like doors and curtains that get drawn in between us. But when it's meant to be, you will know when it's meant to be. So my intuition, I call it the upgrades. I get upgraded. Before, when I used to resist the upgrades, it becomes painful. And I'd say in the last 2 months, my upgrades have happened. I didn't even know. So when I'm channeling for people, I start getting visions, and I know, it deep down. Like I could be in the mosque and I could be praying, and all of a sudden I'm channeling for people. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm praying. And if I said that to someone, they would think that's the devil trying to divert me from praying. But it's not. It's because I'm in a meditative state in that moment. So again, I wouldn't have known this. I mean, how do you feel the upgrade? You just know. It's like when you're feeling extremely low, and I forgot what Haley called it. Some people say it's ascension. Some people, like I said, it's a label, but you know exactly what's happening to you in that moment.
Download.
Yeah, the downloads come intense. And now when I'm, like, I could just be sitting there, and when I'm driving, it happens a lot. I could be driving and all of a sudden I get a download. When it comes to me, I tend to not, but I know when I'm getting downloads for myself. Like I knew, I'd say at the start of the year that I wasn't going to be in my job any longer, but I knew it wasn't going to be tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah. So I knew
about that last year before I lost my job. I was like, this ain't gonna last.
Yeah.
And straight away they were like, But the current energies for the DMs they are quiet. They are going through it. They are having lots of ego deaths, a lot of realizations, a lot of guilt and shame of what they've done, a lot of realizations, and it will continue in November and the whole of next year. But usually for them, it's a little bit slower. They take a little bit more time than us. It happens later. Delay.
The Divine Masculine updates at the moment is they're actually a lot of the people who are. I'm trying to not read the comments so I don't get distracted.
We'll do the comments in the end. We'll do. Yeah. I like to talk first and then do questions and answers at the end.
If we can hold back any kind of comments or questions because it does get distractive. What I've noticed is a lot of Divine Masculines are awakening up to twin flame labels, and it's like, shit, what do I need to do? My friend was a classic example. He's on holiday and he's literally sending me a voice note saying, bro, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, bro, when you come back to the UK, I will talk to you and I will explain to you. Right now, enjoy your life. Because when you come back, make sure you got your seatbelt on, because it's going to get time. You're at that time now where the masculines are going. So when you're talking about the fast track, yes, people go through fast track. Mainly people who awaken 2022 to 2023 and 2024 now, theirs is going so fast like that. And I'm like, yo, how come we didn't get that? But it's more intense and painful. But I've been on this journey 4 years, and you're like, fuck. But for the masculines now, when the feminine has gone through that healing, and this is why I say to people, stop getting chased, come out of that chaser energy, stop looking for stuff, stop looking for your sole purpose, stop looking for things. So when you stop all that, you start hearing a lot about you. Yeah, you see Jennifer saying mine's doing a lot of charity work, and I channeled that for Manny as well, that his twin is going towards that as well. And again, with Manny, we saying collectively, there's a lot of guilt and shame going on. A lot of guilt and shame.
To stop the chasing, I mean, you have to get out of your system. It's all your fear-based addictive energy. But the number one thing you can do is stop watching tarot readers on TikTok. Stop that. That keeps you put in the loop. But I mean, we talked about earlier about like learning to go within and listen